In the city, you must fight to survive. He sold tortillas on the corner. And the mob wanted in.
I don't know who this guy is, but I want him and his tortillas. I want to attack!
He had one chance, and his chance was to fight back Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Listen to me. These are my tortillas, and I'm not going to get them up here. You have to get out of here. They're trying to kill you. Get out! Get out!
Every author hates, absolutely loathes, trying to come up with a blurb. But blurbs are important, and they're sort of our guide a little bit. They tell readers what to expect, what genre, what promises we plan on fulfilling, and it can be challenging because a lot of times we fight with the efforts of trying not to reveal too much, right? But in short, it's very important. And there's always the question, is there a wrong way or right way to write a blurb? And for the sake of this post, we will focus solely on fiction, romance blurbs, things like that. There is a formula. Did you know for the last couple of years, there has been a very specific pattern for the top selling novels, and that the blurbs all have a certain pattern in common? Ingram did a study back in, I want to say 2019, and that they were stunned by this. And they shared it with anyone who came to the webinar that time around. And I was there in attendance. But in short, here's the formula. And try not to overthink this if you're an author trying to write a blurb right now. You want one bolded line. And this one-liner should be what we call in the industry, and this you should be familiar with, like your elevator pitch, or one-liner that the movie voiceover guy would do, right? The next paragraph should be at least 3 sentences about your main character. Tell your readers who the vehicle is. And to make things a little easier, a sentence should describe their goal, their motivation, and their conflict. There's 3 sentences right there, right? And some sort of shape or form. It doesn't have to be the main goal or the final goal or conflict, but it should at least encompass a good amount of what the story is about. Second paragraph. This is where things get a little tricky. Just a little tricky, okay? This is going to be either your antagonist, your love interest, or an important secondary character. Yeah, it's totally cool with epic fantasy that we typically have more than one party member, right? But in short, your antagonist, your main squeeze that they're going to hook up with, or different people they might hook up with, some sort of that. And again, 3 sentences, and try to give us a sort of sense of goal, motivation, and conflict, right? If this is more dystopic or post-apocalyptic, you might want to put the company is out to get them, or whatever opposing force, right? If this was detective crime, your first paragraph would be your detective or murderer, and then the second one would be the opposite, right? The murderer detective, accordingly. And yes, you can put a 3rd paragraph, and that 3rd paragraph can be only 1 or 2 lines or more, but you can tell them what makes this unique, what to expect, you know, a little bit about the world they're in, or what they're facing, or the ultimate goal for the series, or a series hint. And it's okay to sometimes put the trigger warnings as part of the blurb so that readers don't pick up a book they're not going to like. So you're probably wondering, like, how well does this formula work? If you did not see the start of this, that was Pablo Francesco. And he does a bit as movie voiceover guy. And it's the Tortilla Boy. And in the spirit of said humor, here's how I would write a blurb for the Tortilla Boy. All right, you ready? He was just a tortilla boy selling on the streets of Chicago when the mafia wanted in, right? Very similar to what Pablo has done. Movie voiceover and movie little summaries and narratives, especially during the 90s and stuff, that is a blurb, okay? So he was just a tortilla boy selling on the streets of Chicago when the mafia wanted in. Tortilla Boy dreamed of one day owning his own taco restaurant, just like his grandfather once had. He had a passion for tacos and burritos, but self-doubt wasn't the only battle. The mafia has their eyes on his taco stand. First paragraph. Second. The mafia owned the streets of Chicago, and when the Godfather tasted the best taco of his life, he wanted in on the business. Dark secrets will be revealed about Tortilla Boy's jaded past when the mafia finds out he not only refuses their offer, but is willing to go to war. And then a closing little thing. Tortilla Boy and the mafia duke it out in this action thriller where the tortillas are on the line and stakes are burning hot. This book contains crime, violence, language, and sexual content. But that's a blurb, right? That's the pattern. You're a one-liner. We talk about the main character. We talk about the opposing force. And then we kind of give them what makes this unique, what things they should be aware of about the book. So, yeah, that's how you write a blurb. That's the formula for a blurb.